Good Friday morning, East Tennessee. My name is David Aldridge, Chief Meteorologist of Captain Accurate Weather. So happy that you're here. You made it to the end of the work week. Got a lot to cover. We've been tracking Francine all week, and now Francine is making the determination as to what we see or don't see in terms of rain. Some of us got a little bit. Some wish they had more. It is what it is. It's like trying to peg Jell-O on a bulletin board. It's like trying to put Jell-O on the wall, trying to pinpoint, because it kept moving west, and it's now spinning in place, dancing in place, as it were. But I get ahead of myself. It is early part of your Friday morning. It's 6:40. We've got a little bit of fog in the Smokies. That's what probably would be the headline if you want to say headline, but there really isn't much of that. It's the Smokies that are dealing with more wind. It's been very windy there. Relative to what we have in the valley, it's child's play here. But they've had gusts of around 50 miles per hour, up to 50, and it's been ongoing since about 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. This wind advisory, as issued from our friends at the National Weather Service in Morristown, will run until 11 o'clock this morning. So you've got more hours of the wind, and you can see this somewhat illustrated here a little closer. It's really the higher peaks. It's the tops of the mountains that are really dealing with it. You've got 39, 33, 34. So some of the winds there can affect some power. The trees could come down in some spots, so be mindful if you're traveling through the Smokies on your way to North Carolina, for example, this morning. But clearly, the wind gusts, not much of a factor. We have winds that are calm right now in Anderson County. So it's kind of a hard argument to make. It's not windy here. No, and it may not even be windy in Sevierville. But if you travel higher up in the elevations, it will certainly be noticeable. That runs to 11 o'clock this morning. Meanwhile, our temperatures this morning, back in the 60s. This is where we're going to be now for the mornings. We're not going to be back in the 40s or 50s like we had last weekend. A very different air mass, more humid, you might add. But 65 current temperature in Crossville, 66 in Oak Ridge, and we have 63 in Morristown. If you're on the call, just want to say good morning to you. A quick note here from Darcy Soar. She says, we made it. Looking forward to some rain and cooler days next week. Have a blessed weekend. Go see the Nina and Pinta at the Uchi Marina. Oh, there you go. So you've got some great events there. Fred's on here, too. He has a note. He's got 65 degrees here in Maryville. Still no rain here yet. It's interesting to note, Fred, that we did actually pick up .01. Oh, come on. That's like 1/100th of it. That's it. .01 fell at McGee-Tyson Airport last night. That's it. And you say, I survived Francine. Not exactly. We may have survived the leftovers of Francine. You go down to southern Louisiana, make that statement, you'll see how silly that really is. They got pounded with a Category 2 hurricane just a couple of mornings ago. 64 in Oneida, 63 in Morristown. Those are your current temperatures. Dew points have come up too. They're no longer in the 40s, they're in the 60s, so a touch more humid. I'm not saying it's oppressive, but it is certainly higher than it's been in the last couple of days or even weeks, really, when you think about the bigger picture. So here's the big picture. Let me show you the radar. Where did Francine go? She's in Kentucky now. She's doing some sightseeing across the Commonwealth. We've got more rain. Really, the latest update, let me bring this up to speed here. According to, well, the National Hurricane Center, they passed the torch to the Weather Prediction Center. Yes, I said Weather Prediction Center. Most of the time we cover the Storm Prediction Center. It's just another division of NOAA. It's another division of that branch of government. And I noticed that, according to them, as of 5 o'clock this morning, the center of Francine's leftovers, are you following me? Leftovers, is 90 miles northwest of Memphis. So if you go an hour and a half away from Memphis, now you've found the center of circulation from our friend Francine. And we'll go back on the map here. You can see it's all the way on the left side of the screen. So it's 90 miles west-northwest of Memphis, and it's moving west at 3 miles per hour. I think many of you walk faster than 3 miles an hour. Are you getting my drift? This is one of those things where many of us could be closer to 90 today than we are 80. Let me say that again. Many of us in the valley will be closer to 90 today than we are 80 because of the fact that we're not going to get the rain in many cases until the afternoon in most cases, but you won't see as much. I think this afternoon is probably our best chance. Not going to see a whole lot of rain tomorrow, not going to see a whole lot of rain on Sunday, simply because this storm moved further west. So if your whole 7 day is contingent, dependent on what Francine does, no wonder it's like Jell-O on the wall. It's hard to peg. Very hard to peg. Anything tropical. Oh, and then did I tell you next week's forecast is contingent, dependent on something tropical off the Carolinas. What's that storm going to do? We're going to explore all that here in just 15 minutes or less. That's my goal to be done at the top of the hour. Let's talk about today. I mentioned some of us could be closer to 90. I have us at 86, but if some of us hit 87 in Knoxville, wouldn't surprise me. Not from the data I see this morning. 79 for Crossville might be certainly on target if you're in Fairfield Glade or Lake Tansy, Cumberland County. 83 for La Follette. I've got us at 84 in Morristown for an expectation. But again, if temperatures get a little bit higher, closer to like mid to upper 80s in the valley, don't be surprised. At least that's my morning message. By the way, you can see some rain around the Tri-Cities, but there's not a whole lot here. We've already covered the wind advisory in Brown. That's for the gusts up to 50 miles per hour. That runs until 11 a.m. And look where it's been. Over the last couple of hours, let's say 6 to 8 hours, it's all been moving to the north and now spinning back in the direction. It moves counterclockwise around the low pressure system that was once Francine, now just the leftovers. By the way, Marcos.com, great place to go. My sponsor. If you're looking for some delivery for lunch today, maybe you just don't want to cook tonight and you'd like to order in, Marcos.com can help you. They got locations in Hardin Valley, Farragut, Maryville, Fountain City Halls, Oak Ridge, Middlebrook Pike, and Ebenezer Road. It's a magnificent pepperoni pizza that they offer for less than $10. They call it the Magnifico. That's for a limited time, and you might want to consider a lunch item. The new Pozzoli, it's delicious. And I love the pepperoni and sausage pictured at the top. It's much more filling than even this picture would suggest, but it's less than $6 for a limited time. Marcos.com, they are a great sponsor for Captain Accurate Weather. Now, you'll notice the spin associated with this storm that is now 90 miles west-northwest of Memphis. That is the leftovers of Francine. And it's just one of those things. It's feast or famine. It is a dry time of the year. If you plan on that, if you're a landscaper, you're a gardener, or if you're just trying to keep your lawn green, you should know by now, if you've lived here for any length of time, that August, September, October are conditionally, typically drier than the other months of the calendar. It's just the way it goes. It's quiet across the Great Lakes. It's now pretty quiet across much of the Gulf, but there is some disturbed weather off the coast of the Carolinas that we'll be watching for the upcoming week ahead. Now, I did mention to Fred, we picked up 0.01. So we now have a grand total of 0.04 in the September arrow. So that brings us up, as I come back on camera a second, 0.04. So when you average 3.5, we're now running negative 1.27. That's 1.25 inches below normal for the month. But what's weird is that we're running 0.14, over 4 inches of rain above normal for the year. And that's because May skewed the numbers. I'm talking about the fact that May was the 4th wettest May on record with over 8.5. So it does feast or famine, but I know it's dry, and it leads me to the next question. Are we under a drought? Yes, we are. It's a lot worse. I'm looking at West Virginia at the top there. Charleston's red. That means they're extreme drought in much of the mountain state. But for us, let's focus on us. We're brown. That's a moderate drought for Knoxville, for Karnes, for Mascot, for Newport, Sevierville, Pigeon Forge. Everybody in brown. If you're yellow, you're abnormally dry. Think of it as 5 levels. Dry, abnormally dry yellow would be level 1. Moderate would be level 2. So we are level 2 in Knoxville. It's a level 3 severe drought if you're in Kingston, Harriman, Rockwood, or Crab Orchard. And you can see it does get progressively worse down toward Cleveland as well, Dayton. And then it's really bad west of Nashville. So these are the areas that could really use the rain. As I highlighted, the Ohio Valley, looks like just south of Columbus, west of Pittsburgh, they're red or extreme, exceptional drought. It's just off the chart when it turns red, where they really need the rain, and some of us are going to be disappointed. Maybe you're already disappointed. But again, I'm just the messenger, and these storms, when you're trying to track it and make your whole prediction based on what Francine does or doesn't do, it can be a little frustrating. I grant you that. We had a beautiful, dry weekend. I believe it was dry. I know it was cool. Last Saturday it was 78. Last Sunday, 78. And yesterday was 79. But today I expect we could be in the mid to upper 80s. Post-tropical cyclone Francine, I like to call her just leftovers. She ain't moving much. She may dance in place. She may do-si-do around in a circle, and it just kind of parks itself there. We have a tropical depression 7 that may very well get the name Gordon later this morning, as this is, I guess, more like fish food. It looks like it goes back to a tropical depression. Why are we tracking this? This storm system is not going to affect the U.S. It's not going to affect the U.S. It's just going to put another feather in the cap for those who are keeping score by the number of named storms, which sometimes, again, if it doesn't have an impact in the U.S., does it really matter? A little bit of a yellow color there in the Lesser Antilles, but as I told you before, there is a 30% chance that something new forms off the coast of the Carolinas Sunday, Monday, Tuesday of next week. Even if it doesn't get a name, even if it doesn't get defined as a name, it's going to be disturbed weather, rainy weather for those at the beach. Highly disruptive. The question is, how far east does it go? Does it stop at Asheville? Does it stop at Charlotte? May not even make it here. That's another weather forecasting challenge, I'll say, as I look at this again later this afternoon. But there's certainly going to be some bad weather, rainy weather for those that might have plans at the beach. And it looks like it's going to be centered really across the Carolinas, probably lesser to an effect for Florida or, say, Georgia. By the way, the hurricane season does usually peak 2 weeks before the 10th of September, 2 weeks after the 10th of September. So we're really in the sweet spot for active weather. And as I mentioned, Francine is now off the list, but we have Gordon on deck ready to go in case we have a new name. By the way, Wanda Poe's on here. I want to say good morning to her smiling face. Everybody be careful about burning. Good point. Good point, especially now she's closer to that wind advisory in Cock County, so be mindful of that. Mary Morgan's on here. Good morning. Have a nice day. Glad to have Mary here. And our friend Janet Potts has a weather report. Love it. She says, good Friday morning at 63 degrees in Talbot. Go Big Orange. Got my orange tie on, Janet. I'm sure you noticed. And I got a great, very precise weather report from Karen Robbins. She has 63.2% and 82% relative humidity in Fairfield Glade. Thank you very much, Karen. She's also one of my premium members. Very thankful for all of you watching. Yeah, we're in a drought, moderate drought. Could we get some rain today? Look at the projection. Doesn't look all that impressive. It says 0.17. I would think that's that would be a bonus. If we could get just under 0.2 of an inch today in spots, that would be a blessing. Again, these are widely scattered. Later tonight, we got high school football. By 7 o'clock tomorrow, it looks like they have less rain. I don't even see these rain gauges, virtual as they may be. They don't really move much. Once we get into Saturday night, Sunday, have they moved much? Monday, it doesn't look like it's doing much, right? So it's going to be pretty quiet. We're all going to be waiting to see if something on the Carolina coast actually takes shape. And maybe it moves up the coast. Perhaps it stays up moving toward Virginia. That would be another bad sign for us. But you can see from the bigger picture that they are in for a lot of rain on the coast. I'm looking at Wrightsville Beach. I'm looking at the Outer Banks, Jacksonville, North Carolina. A lot of rain off the coast. But if it doesn't move in this direction and you've got little Francine playing do-si-do, it's going to mean heavier rains in West Tennessee, West Georgia, northern Mississippi, and perhaps into the panhandle of Florida here over the next 24 to 36 hours. Let's get to the important game forecast. I had to update that too. Before, I had 40% chance. I've had to drop it to a stray 20%. Stray 20%, which means it's a partly to mostly cloudy night. Tomorrow night, it's going to be, I think, fairly decent weather. They'll be in the mid to perhaps upper 70s as we cool back near 8 o'clock. It's a 7:45 start, mind you, on the SEC network, but should be around 74 at halftime, and by the end of the fourth quarter, low 70s. So a little more humid, but not that hot. Very nice. In fact, you got number 7, Tennessee Vols. I believe they're 7. They could be even higher than that for all I know, but they're taking on a very, inexperienced team. They've had 2 losses. This is the Kent State Golden Flashes, I will say. Go Vols, excited about every game that they played. Now, tracking the clouds, we have a good blend of the two. We got hazy sun, we got some clouds, and if with enough sunshine, we could be moving our direction toward closer to 90 than we are 80 today. Sunrise, sunset today, 7:17. Goes to bed now for high school football. Goes to bed at 7:45. You'll be under the lights, I'm sure, in no time at all. Bus stop forecast brings in the bus this morning in the 60s. Should be around 72 at 10, and between 2 and 3:30 should easily be in the mid-80s. I got us at 84 at 2 with a high temperature of 86. But again, if we hit 87, some of you hit 88 in the Southern Valley like Athens, would not surprise me one bit, because the fact that the rain's going to be slow to get back in here, as it's now this morning, spinning primarily through Kentucky. Today I'm expecting 86 for Maryville, 86 for Tellico Plains and Madisonville, and 82 for our friends in Middlesboro. Got another note perhaps from some of you. Yes, I got Danny. Oh, he says, nice tie. Thank you, Danny. Always appreciate, love having the fact that you're on here. And he's always to be counted for mentioning the ball. So I love having that. Thank you for your support. As it is now 6:54, got to keep moving. Got some smoke to talk about. Here's the benefit. Whether we get the rain or not, the winds, upper level winds, well, it's bringing some strong winds and the smoke. It's pushing a lot of the smoke out of here. The yellow and red areas across the Great Lakes would be moderate to maybe dense smoke up there across Lake Ontario and maybe across Lake Erie, but that's seemingly like it's pushing its way out of the picture. So that's good there. The humidity is back, though. It's humid. Look at this. By 5 o'clock tonight, as some of you get ready for high school football, it's going to be more humid than it is or has been the last couple of days because we're seeing the dew points rise. And so you get more of what I call the green ooze. It oozes in, stays in, might retreat a little bit on Sunday, but then it's trying to come back and then play cat and mouse. So it's going to depend on what's happening off the coast of the Carolinas Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, whether or not our outlook is dry or continued dry. By the way, 64 our current temperature in Knoxville, while it's 75 degrees in Nashville. Those dew points around the state are much more humid in Jackson, Tupelo is 70. So you can see there's a lot more humidity that's coming up with Francine or her leftovers at this particular time. It is 6:55. Let's get to the headlines. Headlines, you've already covered so much ground. I know. But for those who join us late, this might help. Francine continues to weaken. Showers are still possible, but it's not that impressive after this afternoon. I have a 40% chance this afternoon, but I do think that the chance of rain next week is a question mark because I cannot be clairvoyant to know whether this storm is going to decide to come here. And sometimes what's happening off the coast is contingent or dependent on what Francine does. She just dances over here around Little Rock, moves back toward Birmingham. We're going to see this other storm system say, I'm not coming your way. So it's all going to be, they have a reciprocal relationship. One could move one way, the other says I'm going the other way. It's just the way it goes. Right now we have currently 64 degrees. Winds out of the north at 7, northeast at 7 miles per hour. Relative humidity is high at 90%. Some of you may wake up this morning or drive through some patches of fog. Here's my forecast. Clouds, hazy, sun today. Temperatures around 86. Could be there for a couple of hours. I've got 3, 4 o'clock, still in the mid-80s. And then a 40% chance of showers, rumbles of thunder. The normal high this time of year is actually 84 degrees. Precipitation chances for the ball game, I left a 20% stray. I mean like a stray shower. Most of the game should be dry. Perhaps the preamble, the tailgating that happens before might have a passing shower. No big deal. Storm Prediction Center, we've got some colors to talk about. The dark green we know, probably if you've watched me for any length of time, you know is typically isolated severe weather. So maybe a spin-up tornado could occur in Montgomery or Birmingham, but they do place Tallahassee all the way up to Nashville for the isolated risk for some severe weather if you're traveling in that direction. In Middle Tennessee, they left the chance for some thunder here today and tonight, and then nothing appears severe tomorrow. Saturday, we have some thunder possibilities, but that really divides the viewing area in half. It looks like no thunder for Morristown with the possibility of some thunder in Crossville. And Sunday, pretty much stray shower. Don't have much more than 20% now as this continues to spin, meaning the leftovers of Francine spinning in place. She's not going to get captured by the jet stream, so she's going to dance in place. And look at this. This is the best map I can show you. Do you see that big red L, or at least the white L, in the red circle? That's centered over Little Rock. You tell me where it is by the time we finish this animation. It's in Little Rock. We've got a couple of showers that spin in here this afternoon. There's 12:15. A couple of showers there at 5 o'clock. Is the low in Little Rock anymore? No, it looks like it's in Mississippi now. And that time frame is 11 o'clock tonight. Now, once we move into tomorrow morning, it looks like it's in Mississippi. So it's gone from Little Rock to the southeast toward Tupelo. And now it's moving further west of Birmingham by midday tomorrow. And by the time we hit 5 o'clock Saturday, now it's southwest of Birmingham. It's west of Montgomery. Francine can't make up her mind. She's all over the map. She's going to go over here, go over here, go over here. And yes, that does have an impact on your chance of rain. It goes up, it goes down. Since this storm is dancing and it's moving this way, it's making it a lot harder for the coastline coast storm to get and take shape here because it's going to continue to move southwest of Birmingham and back toward Jackson, Mississippi. Our hope of getting much rain from the East Coast storm, well, we'll have to depend on new data and wait to see how this storm interacts with what's off the coast of Wilmington, North Carolina. So our future cast, let's get to the forecast. It is now 6:59. It is time to update you so that you know what's happening next. And you can see there is the new low off the coast of Charleston, South Carolina. That's midday Monday. The question is how far east will those showers rain? It looks like it gets to Charlotte, but I don't know if it's going to make it all the way to Knoxville. That will be a hard or tough task. Today, 86 at least. 86 at least, clouds, hazy sun, showers and storms, and the winds locally in the valley, 5 to 10 plus. Clearly, the plus would be the Smokies, and they have gusts of 50 miles an hour up until 11 o'clock this morning from the wind advisory. Today, 84 for Morristown, 85 for Newport, and if you're in Wartburg, 82 degrees, Morgan County. Traveling today, about 78 for Atlanta, 79 for Charlotte, 78 for Tupelo. And for tonight, yes, 67, more humid for high school football, maybe a few spots of rain, but I think by the time we get to 8 o'clock tonight, it's going to shut down. The rain opportunities will be non-existent, I think, by the time we hit 8 o'clock tonight. So most of the football games tonight should be fine, but it will be raining in spots at 5 or even 6 p.m. That I do expect to kind of see it wind down like watching a ceiling fan turn off from a light switch. 66 for a low tonight in Oak Ridge, 66 in Newport, and if you're in Athens, look for a low around 64. It is 7 o'clock. Straight up, here's your Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast, and we'll leave time for some comments. Look at this, 7-day, 86, 85 tomorrow. We're still in the mid-80s with the opportunity of about a 30% chance tomorrow and only a 20% chance on Sunday. I got us back in the 70s on Wednesday, but that 60% chance on Wednesday needs to be reevaluated depending on what Francine does. It's like two moving parts. It's bad enough when your 7-day is contingent or dependent on a tropical feature. It's even doubly more challenging when you've got two potential features, or one that's decayed and one that's trying to take shape. Good morning to all of you. I got a note from Billy. He's wanting to show me he's got the star spirit. He's a superstar. Thank you so much, Billy. And if you have Facebook stars, you can always send them to me as well. Anyone that might be watching. I got Jason on here. He's on here. He's saying, good morning, David. I hope everyone has a wonderful Friday, as to you as well. My friend Dawn Rumsey is here. She says, David, hope you have a great weekend, and to you as well. And let's see here. Esther, I want to say good morning to Esther. Good morning, David. 65 degrees in Washburn. Love Washburn. Have a great day. Great to have Esther on here. Love having you guys watch on live stream. By the way, if you haven't picked up the free Captain Accurate Weather app, if you are interested in keeping track of the rain throughout the day, it's a great tool to have, and it's free. You get all the National Weather Service alerts on the app. You get Pete Michaels traffic on the app. That alone is worth the price of free admission. And you get all the Barron alerts, 3 extras, plus lightning. It's just such a great product to have. And if you want something extra, if you want to know what's the latest on the East Coast rain potential this weekend, join us on Premium. We focus on weather that goes beyond the next 7 days. We focus on 2 weeks, the trends, the prevailing patterns. We do this on a regular basis, so if you'd like to join us, we'd love to have you. We go like 30 days in the future, and soon I'll be issuing, in a matter of weeks, the winter weather outlook. Some of you are like, what's this winter going to be like? First, to see every forecast. More Facebook Lives. We do that usually on a Sunday to help you plan for the week ahead, and you get fewer ads. It's just $4.99 a month. I didn't say a day or a week. That's $44. $4.99 a month. That's 16 cents a day. That's the best bargain in East Tennessee weather, in my view, because you're getting so much more than just a 7-day forecast. Well, my name is David Aldridge. Some people call me Captain Accurate. It's not easy being accurate. Please have a great weekend. Go Vols. We'll see you here next time. Take care.